Good morning, y'all. Math and data. Ka-choy on 'em. How we do it? It's Monday, motherfuckers.
Previously on Kimba TV. Okay, so if we get below 94 thou, if we get below 94.3 on CME, that's where, you guys remember what I said about how many longs are open? You guys remember what I said was the number? And I was like, if they don't close before this number, there's X millions of dollars in longs open on CME. Can I get a hot dog? Now, just because I said that shit and everybody fucking knows it now, it's probably not gonna happen. Okay, I probably should have just shut the fuck up. Apologies. But, just a heads up in case it still happens, okay?
Good morning, y'all. How we doing? It's Monday. It's cut joy time. Are we ready?
15-second alpha TA. Well, your VWAP is here again at open, so that's probably the first area where we look for a scalp long. You can see all this down here, so I would, what is that? Let's delete these lines real quick. So if it pulls back first, I think the book says you're supposed to take the daily open if the VWAP lines up. I can't remember. Value area low. Yeah, so I think that's probably the most aggressive long, and then try to take that. Is trading light down? Oh. Yeah, so we would want to watch the daily. Yeah, I'm probably going to be looking at that daily and the VWAP for a potential scalp long. Scalp short would be the swing fail up top. Obviously, we want ES to confluence with us at the key level. So, all right. And the easiest short is if we lose this structure, if we make a lower low. So if we do try to take that 94.3 long, then that's the stop loss. All right. Market open. Let's go. Rafa says, I'm in the short. Did I take it too early? No, you might be able to get away with it. Obviously, the highs are bad, right? And I don't know if you've been around long enough, but we've had maybe like 83% probability. It's somewhere between like 80 and 85. I'm going to, leave it up to your interpretation that the weekend highs or weekend lows, they get swept on Monday RTH. All right. Yeah, you're probably a little bit. It's not that if you're early or late on the short, you just have to understand that the high is bad. So it's got a high chance it's going to get cleaned, especially with ES moving so close to the key level. So for me, you guys know what it is. I've got a big short on ES coming up if it's going to give it to me. Yeah, and I already put my stop line, moved my stop loss in front of the entry already since we had 5-minute structure change. Yes. Ascenti, thank you for the resub. Kagam says, I thought it was 0.7S that we were longing. I don't know what 0.7S is. But listen to, well, first off, it doesn't matter what I said, okay? You need to understand basic concepts like identifying the open, identifying the VWAP, yeah, you should probably lose it a little bit, right? And then come right back above and in. Okay? So it really doesn't matter. Like, dude, my browser is fucked too, dude. What's going on with my computer? But it's just it went to golden pocket, pixel perfect. So, all right. Yeah, I would have liked point of control and here, right? Regardless, your stop loss is here if you're gonna go blind. You know, if you wanna. But this is why this is called Kimba box. You know, you don't need to get 7.5 every single time. That's okay. You can just learn from today, in my opinion. JMC cheered 200 bits. Let's go, JMC. Kachoy on him. And then calling noob gifted him a sub. That's Bugatti money. Let's go. Let's go. Azaz, 15-second alpha TA. Yeah, there you go. Do I say anything more? Clip the other parts too, Azaz. The stuff further down is nice too. I am one says I forgot about Kimba box and I didn't get my limit on 94.3 at value area low. That's okay. That's okay. Look, what do I always say? I am one. I don't care if you took the long or short. Okay. As long as you didn't bottom short, at least you were looking for a long, bro, and not like shorting here. You feel me? You know, and remember, guys, like, this is a game of probabilities. Sometimes shit works out. Sometimes the higher probability play plays out. Sometimes it doesn't. All I know is losing this is fucked. So if it had just done this, then you know that I would have shorted this, right? That's what I would have shorted. I wouldn't have been shorting here. I wouldn't have shorted any of this. I would have let it change structure, and then I would have shorted that. You know, but who gives a shit if you didn't long down there or if you missed it? I mean, did you Marcus Smash daily? Did you mark? Because now whatever long you take, your invalidation is this. So whether you wanted to long the VWAP or the daily, that's fine too. Your invalidation is that low. So every day you have an opportunity to prove it to yourself that you know what you're doing. Did you wait for 30-minute candle closes? Were you patient? Did you identify levels, etc., etc.? Yeah. I am one says waiting for short above highs. Nice. Yeah. And remember, I am one. I'm ready to short up there too, but you do know that there is a probability, there is a chance that it just fucking pops all the way to 98, right? So do you remember what I was talking about last week? The people that are wanting 96, there's a really big correlation to their sentiment score. And like, I'm not talking about you guys because the AI is out there, reading Twitter and other streamers, viewers and whatnot. But everybody that wants 96, usually wrong. That's the only data that kind of freaks me out. So front running 96 or going beyond 96 is probably the most probable outcome at this point. So according to the AI sentiment analysis tool, most of the people that have stated anything about 96 are usually wrong. So that's the thing that would maybe scare some people. All right. So yeah, just be careful, you know. I would be like, if you're not aware of 98, then you probably shouldn't be shorting 96, in my opinion. You heard? Because that's probably a sign of lack of preparation. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. What'd you guys think about being prepared? All it took, ladies and gentlemen, was about 15 seconds of looking at where the weekend price action and the overnight price action did. And we knew what we needed to do. We identified the bad highs and the bad lows. And so pretty straightforward, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? We did it live once again, So if there's still motherfuckers that are like skeptical and need to actually see the fucking position, don't worry, the 100K to 1 mil challenge coming up. But the really important thing is can you do this on your own? It's not that hard. So, Kachoya.
Gotta be testing it.
I'm fucking giving you the alley-oop. I'm giving you the layup. Either you believe it or you don't. So, Kachoya, what do you think? I can't lose, chat, even if I'm wrong. And this, ladies and gentlemen, if it does this, for example, am I going to take an L on this long? No. If it does this, am I going to take an L on this long? Nope. The haters hate it, but the lion can't lose. Akachoya! I'm juicing. The haters hate it, chat. The hyenas hate it, but the lions can't lose. You see how it's not about being right or wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty straightforward. Just look at the data, and we did our thing. So I can't lose. I'm just constantly moving my thing up. If you guys want to talk about what would be appropriate TP1, TP2, let me know. At this point, TP1 should be a higher high. Y'all Gucci with me? Hazy says, hi, Kimba. Lovely start to the day. Yes, always. But I always tell people, too, look, you got to be juicing with class, and you got to be losing with class. You got to be right with class, and you got to be wrong with class, So sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about looking at the data, being prepared, taking your shots, managing risk. So I have, again, placed myself in a situation where I can't lose. I've won for the day. Kachoy. How we doing? Everybody Gucci? How was everybody's weekend? We Gucci? We mathin'? Prepared? Exclamation prepared? Easy money? We always doing this bitch live. Kachoya. Atkins says TPs would be great. Well, it would be bad high. So some people, if you're really conservative, they're going to do it there because they're going to argue that it's close. Okay, so that would probably be TP1 by the book, but I think for me, it would be a sweep of that high. Okay, if you're not going to shave a little bit here, then you need to be moving your stop loss into profit. Because there is a scenario where it just keeps making a shitty high. And everybody that's waiting to TP their longs at 96, everybody that's trying to short 96, they're going to get front ran. There is a chance. So you're telling me there's a Bamir says, I don't know if you got around to looking at Sui. Oh, yeah. Sui. Oh, fucking A.
He's gonna share too much alpha. Silence him.
Okay, let's just keep Sui dead ass simple. Who was the one that asked about Sue? Obviously, don't fucking long here. The easiest long or the more aggressive is something like this. Obviously, right? So that's the most aggressive. This is the one that I think I would like. But the real question is they're really going to leave this? They're really going to leave that? Do you think that's going to get left? I mean, obviously, if Bitcoin's going to leave 74, then I guess, yeah, right? So if you believe that those lows truly are not going to get swept, then you're going to have to look for structure hold, and you're going to have to look for a higher low. So, like, what I would do is try to get, like, fixed range from this candle to maybe here. God, I mean, that would be dope. I would love this. This is the same thing on Bitcoin, to be honest. You guys remember somebody was asking me, like, hey, wouldn't it be better if we go to 96 first? And do you guys remember what I was saying? I said, dude, if we go to 96, I think I might have to start looking for a long at 90. Fuck the 80 and 82. Do you know why that is? Because Bitcoin's already in value. On the higher time frame, this and this are the two zones. And so even though this value area low is up here, if you take everything into consideration, it's actually here. So what we might be witnessing is it's just point of control. You know, like we have to be aware of this now. So context is starting to change a little bit. All right. So yeah, I'm for sure going to be looking at 90, 91, before 80, 82. The 80, 82 is less probable now because of the fact that we made it to 96.
Let's go. What do you think, chat? Chat, talk to me. What do you think? You know I'm Big Daddy juicing on this hoe. Chat, hit him with the D. Hey, poke him with it. Hey, slap him with it. Let's go. Cut joint. Cut joint. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yo,
you know, one thing my trainer, he told me, he said,
Shiba.
What did he say? He
Yeah,
just told us to be prepared.
Bitch.
All right, any questions? Paranoid Android says, I live for these songs.
I stack, let's get it.
Crypto Clown. What are possible TP targets for ES short? All of the lines, man. 5480 single print, 5428. Obviously, it's gonna take time, and obviously, I need GDP and PCE to help me, nuke, right? I need GDP and PCE on Wednesday to be fucked up. So yeah, not too shabby, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. Do I use prop firm? No, but I will do a prop firm challenge for you and pass it in like 3 trades. Kachaya! We're going to do it live, okay? Chap Superstar says, can I ask why you were longing BTC and shorting S&P in a week where S&P Confluence is number 1? Well, because I'm already in a short on BTC from higher, if you remember. Do you guys remember, Chab, what's my entry on the Bitcoin short? Yeah, so I'm already kind of, I have like a really nice Sol short. So I'm already in. And I told you how I would play the Bitcoin short if you wanted to scalp. I'm already in the scalp too. So I'm already in it. I think most of you guys are too. So what would be my entry? Where did it bearish retest? Yeah, and then why did I take the S&P short? Well, I think that one is easy. I don't know how, I'm sure Azaz has it, but I've been dreaming about this, dude. So I have like 11.9 mil S&P short. Pixel perfect. And you know how I got this entry? You know how I got this entry? One, I said that I'm getting ready to do a big ass short before I took it. So if you were here, and even on Friday, how many times did I try to short S&P on Friday? What was the last thing I said? There's probably going to be a sweep on Monday, and it's going to be the 3 drives. What do we usually do for 3 drives? What's the number that we like for 3 drives that we've done for the last 2 years? Watch smaller time frame. Ready? These are 5-minute candles. So all I did was I had the 1.25. I waited. Soon as it tucked back below value area high, I just started marketing. So it's really just about like, you know, and I'll say it again, like I was shorting all last week. So yeah, but that's basically why, Chab. Yeah, and we would have gotten into a short anyways, right? Today on Biddy. So we wanted to, what was the reason for the scalp long, Chab? We wanted to clean that, yes? But we also, did you hear what I said about, you know, how many people, almost everybody that's talking about 96, they're usually wrong. Did you hear that? And how I said that it should either front run 96 or we're going to aim a little bit higher, you know, because everybody is going to try to short this, wait for like 98. So we did it exactly how we kind of timed it, but what I would say, Chap Superstar, is what was your subconscious bias, you know? Chap Superstar says, yes, I got stopped from my short this night and didn't re-enter. Which short did you get stopped out of? There's always another trade, brother. I could give you another scalp short right now if you want. Wouldn't the bearish retest of VWAP be like something that you would be thinking about? It depends like what your higher time frame, medium time frame, and lower time frame. So on the daily like scalp stuff, that's always going to lead into the medium time frame, which is going to lead into the higher time frame. Yeah, so like scalp, smaller time frame, see if we can go higher. Medium time frame, we're looking for a short, right? And then on the higher time frame, we're looking for a long, right? Whether it's 90K, 80K, or fucking 70K. Kind of depends on S&P. Same thing with S&P, right? So if you wanted to scalp the day-to-day, like you were scalping the long, medium time frame, we want to get into a short, right? The ES, I don't know how deep ES can go. Like I would love for it to, you know, nuke all the way and clean the funky low, but it could just come down to here. And remember, we've been ready to kind of long this area. We're ready for that, and we're ready for that, if you remember. And we're ready for that. If you were, somebody was asking about TPs and stuff, so. JV says, I got left behind on short and stopped out on long. How can I chase the short? Well, wouldn't the VWAP bearish retest be the next place? Yeah, like right there. Something like that. You just want to lower high, am I right? Triple J says, what's your target for Sol? What's my target for Sol? We already went over this. So like medium time frame, higher time frame, what? Smaller time frame? Okay, so let's do smaller time frame. I mean, it shouldn't really be that hard. I guarantee you it's fibbing. Don't tell me this is 886. Is this 886? Okay, so it's 886. So what should it do? If you were going to look for a short on this bitch, what would you do? So that's your smaller time frame. I'm sure 886, you could long it. Some people are going to TP some here. Some people are going to TP some here. Some people are going to try to short the golden pocket. Where does the golden pocket line up with? The value area low. Okay? So that's an opportunity. This is an opportunity. You got weekly level, pixel perfect, confluencing with 75786. Maybe you've seen this. You've seen this, chat. Okay? So that's your smaller time frame. You could long from 886. You could short from here. You could short from here. Obviously, you've got the value area low lining up right at golden pocket. That's math. On the medium time frame, I think, you know, you're looking at something like, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is exactly what we were drawing with like Biddy too. Yeah, so yeah, we're just going off the DTZ. On the medium time frame, like, you know, your anchor VWAP is around it's gonna, you know, move up obviously. So like 130, 138. But if you're talking about higher time frame, then I would love to fucking long like 120. So we talk about this, I feel like almost every day, but you got to have a higher time frame, medium time frame, and then the smaller time frame, your daily stuff.
How we doing?
Yeah, any other questions, Chabby? But Chabby, like I'm already in a Biddy short. You know that, right? From 105. You want to let me know if you want to see it again. So remember, like people were asking me, did you close your short? 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 My whole thing was no. I just not going to be too worried about shorting Bitcoin that much. Any other questions? Chap Super says, yeah, I remember. LOL. It's been a while. It's all good. Any other questions? So we've got the medium time frame and the higher time frame. So I'm going to be looking to either close the short at 90, 92 with Biddy. Maybe think about longing. Do you know why? The next level beyond that would be the 80, 82. Do you know why and what data I would be looking for? And then last but not least, 70, 72. And like you said, Chab, you're correct. The most important confluence this week is S&P. So all of these sort of levels, they all confluence pretty relatively the same with Biddy as well. All right. Anything you want to, so what do you, are you going to try to get into a long or get into a short, Chab? I'll do it live with you if you want me to on another account. I could do this all day, baby. What you want to do? What you looking for, my guy? But I'm most proud of this. But you were here. Did you hear when like baby girl was coming into the office and I was like, baby, I gotta pay attention to this. I was already trying big money shorts on S&P all last week, so it's the same thing again. And you've been here long enough to know that the real long or the real short, I want to take it on Monday or Tuesday, right, Chab? I like the week high or the week low to be set on a Monday or Tuesday. So I'm just executing exactly what I said I would do. It's the 3 drives. It's the 1.25. It's the swing fail of the key level. I can't get it in any more perfect than I would always ask for, right? Chab says, looking for short to long lower. Okay, got you. So either you're going to stay below VWAP and continue this trend of lower highs and lower lows, and or the next one is you're going to have to wait for that to get cleaned. Right? You were here in the morning, correct? So the 2 easy things would be to get a swing fail of that, clean it, or you get another like a lower high. Right? So that's if this doesn't work, this is option number 1, this is option number 2, and this is option number 3. Given this context, if this goes like this, you don't want to short there anymore. So you really only have to think about 1, maybe 2, most likely 3 if 1 doesn't work out. That's the way that I would go about it, isn't it? So those are your options coming up. Same thing with S&P, and so
Latuche, motherfucker, the math is the math.
like you probably need to. I don't need this fib anymore. You probably need to try to confluence it with S&P.
Okay.
Chap Superstar says, but where you put stop loss at option 1, like the wick of the T-val, structure change, higher high. Oh, stop the music. Chab. Wait, did you hear the 15-second alpha TA? I think we talked about this too, but like losing this would be really fucked up. You know that, right, Chabby? Would you agree with me or not really? You know, that's really fucked up. So you could also, like, it's never really too late. I don't want you to, like, Marcus smash at the 7.5 for God's sakes. You know, but, like, if this nukes through the 7.5, for example, the bearish retest of the 7.5 or the golden pocket or the VWAP as it curves down is probably not a bad idea either. All right. You saw the 7.5. Got you. So, like, you know, if it really is bearish, you're going to see some shit. I don't think you're not going to even see an 886. You might see something like this. That would, in my opinion, be the most bearish. You know, obviously that's second. If we're going to actually do the golden pocket retest, it would be better to just bounce from the 886. You know that the only reason why they're going to try to do this is to stop out everybody that bottom shorted here. So the open interest might help you here. Cell 18 says, Kimba, any recent update on the DOT TA? Is there a reasonable probability of making a new high around 4.8? Yes, we did talk about DOT and that level before. So here. Here's where we're at. Okay. DOT is a little bit different in that this is value area low, point of control, and value area high. So yes, cleaning that, I'm always going to be aware of that. Obviously, cleaning that, I'm always obviously going to be aware of that. But you also know that a failed auction at a level usually means rotation. There isn't much value until around 3.8 zone. Okay, and that's also the 3.85 is where your anchor VWAP is. So you're kind of stuck in limbo here because you're right around that value area low for the previous value range. So in a way, the levels haven't changed, but the structure itself has. You starting to look like a little bit failed auction-y, and you're below the previous range value area low again. So that's a little bit weak. So if it can get back above, obviously these are daily candle close, then I would say if you can get back above 4.1, then the 4.8 comes back in play. But how could we talk about getting to the point of control if we can't stay above value area low? So that's the way that I would look at it. Sell. What about you? Are you juicing? Yeah, we talked about 3 different longs, 3 different shorts. And we talked about pivot points. We talked about this is what you would do if you don't want to chase the long. Yeah. So we Gucci. But, you know, at the end of the day, every trade, every day, you have an opportunity to prove it to yourself if you know how to prepare, if you know how to manage risk. So let's get it.
We got GDP and PCE
on Wednesday, doubleheader. And then next week, it's FOMC. Are we going to get rate cuts? No rate cuts? Kachoy!
Let's get this juice.
Alex says, crazy how you drew this move earlier today. We talked about the long and the short. Yeah, so eventually we got that thangity-thang, that point of control, kind of this zone. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. So juice either way, exactly. Juice either way. Juice either way. But they're not going to get us. So I think it starts with levels, and that starts with volume-based, value area high, value area low, settlement shit, TPO shit, Fibonacci, and you know I love those anchored VWAPs. Give it up for VWAPs. Especially on altcoins or things that are a little bit more influenced by volume. And then, yeah, like, look, I'm ready for a 90K long. I'm ready for this 98 short. I'm ready for an 80K long. I'm ready for a 120 so long. Okay, so real quick, how many of y'all remember when we were at like 150 or whatever, me talking about like the 95 so long? How many of y'all remember that? And so when I start saying shit like 120 so long, you know how long it could possibly take, yeah? But everybody also knows how that level confluences mathematically and kind of overlaps with a bunch of shit. So a bunch of you, I don't want to say a bunch of you guys, some of you guys I remember in the chat were like, yo, I pussyfooted on the 95 long. I don't know why. And I said, no worries. But you need to figure out what made you pussyfoot 95, because if you can't figure that shit out, you'll probably pussyfoot 120. So you might have another opportunity to juice. Can you imagine like a 120 so long to like 500? Yeah. No, you know what? Let me shut the fuck up, because that's exactly how that 120 long don't work. Because you guys put blind limits and then you guys get wrecked. And then we got to wait for 110 or 108.
You just said.
Right, Grimes? Let me shut the fuck up before I ruin 120. Laskinha says, but at the end of the day, you are still bearish as last week's plans overall, right? So Laskinha, higher time frame, I'm bullish. Okay? Even medium time frame, I'm bullish. There may be occasions on the smaller time frame, day to day. So I don't know how long you've been watching me, but if you go back to 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was more of a higher time frame trader. So I would never talk about daily scalp stuff. I'm going to start scalping S&P every day. I'm going to try to show up and have a trade every day. Okay? I'm going to scalp Bitcoin. I'm going to scalp altcoins. I'm going to scalp S&P. So on the smaller time frame, I might be shorting. So You just gotta kind of try to follow along. I think it was as early as last fall, last late summer, when I was talking about I'm bullish for 2025, and that has never changed. So I'm hoping that the market tops off like end of the year this year or Q1 next year, and then I can really like start selling off shit. Ka-cha! But I don't know, man. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All I know is if bulls are really going to be productive, I think that's the word I would use at this moment, then the rotation play should be easy. You know, all it is 886 right here. Even though it kind of overshot, you got to understand that it's still fibbed perfectly, and it was pixel perfect VWAP. So you guys know that if it really is supposed to be bullish, it's going to be able to do this. And that's your inval right there. If I don't know, some people long that? I don't know. Kachoya. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow, Lions.
Let's fucking go!
GDP PCE. Kachoya. Juice up.
Let's get it.
Lusky, love you, man. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Peace, everybody. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, bears, we're all lions. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss.
Hey.